welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley, and inside this box is all of my favorite sticky vinyl brand. And we are going to make the coolest wooden welcome sign ever, only using our Cricuts and some vinyl. Now, if you don't know anything about me, the one thing that you should know is I'm not really a vinyl crafter. I try to stay away from vinyl because I had a really bad experience with it back when I first started crafting in 2012. I'm sure if you're a Cricut crafter, you have heard that Cricut branded materials like vinyl is a pain in the butt to work with. And I have to tell you that when I first started crafting in 2012, you could only get Cricut branded vinyl. And because it is junk, I just did not have a very good experience working with vinyl. Now, I am on a mission to make vinyl my friend because I really do want to love the craft. There are certain little hacks that I've discovered that help the process go a little bit easier. But the other thing that I have discovered is that brand matters when it comes to your material. So just like what I said about Cricut branded materials, it may be garbage, but that doesn't mean all the rest of the brands are garbage. You know what I mean? Now, over the past couple of years, I've been testing out a lot of brands of vinyl, and I finally found one that I absolutely love so much. It makes doing vinyl crafts so much easier. It cuts amazing, weeds amazing, layers amazing. The entire thing is amazing. All right, so you ready to find out what my favorite brand is? It's this stuff right here called Tech Wrap. This right here is their glitter, right? And we are gonna use a whole bunch of different colors of this brand to make the most amazing wooden welcome sign. Isn't this thing so cute? All I did was take a wood round that I found at the hardware store. I think Dollar Tree also sells wood rounds. And I just added layers of vinyl. Isn't this thing so freaking cute? Now, I know a lot of people like to paint on their wood rounds for their welcome sign. Now, I have to tell you, not only am I not generally a vinyl crafter, watching paint dry is not something I like to do. If there's anything that I don't like to do, it's watch paint dry. So doing the vinyl on here was just like the next best option and ended up turning out so freaking cute. So the coolest thing about this project is I actually designed this all within Cricut Design Space, and I actually made it public. So in the description of this video, you're gonna see a link for Cricut Design Space. You're gonna want to click that link, and then a new box will open up and it'll be Cricut Design Space and the file that we're gonna use to make the sign. I am so freaking pumped to show you a little hack that I have to make vinyl crafting so much easier. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Now, the coolest thing about this project is that we are going to be able to make this really quick because I've already created this file within Cricut Design Space. All you have to do is go over into the description of this video and find the link for the free file within Cricut Design Space. Click that link and it will open up Cricut Design Space, and this is what your screen is going to look like. Now, technically, this sign requires 0 editing. However, if you got a different size round than me, you are gonna have to resize that. What I would suggest doing is taking this circle right here and unhide that. Then what you want to do is select everything. Now, I have an 18-inch round. If you have a 12-inch round, you're going to resize this to 12 inches. When you have it resized the way that you want, you could simply just take that circle and hide it again. Now, the very next thing is definitely not something that you have to do, but I love to do. So technically what you could do is just come over here and press make, and then you can go ahead and just make the sign the way that it sits. However, if you wanted to get super fancy, what we can do is add in an alignment tool so we can make sure that all of our stuff is properly placed onto our vinyl decal so we don't have any issues later on with spacing or layering. The easiest way to do this is come over here into shapes, and we are going to insert a shape. You could do any shape if you wanted to. I prefer a square. Now what you want to do is count the colors of our vinyl. So coming over here into color sync, taking away this square, we're not going to count that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 colors for our sign. So what I'm going to do is taking my square and I'm going to make this 8 different copies. So I'm going to click on my square, Command C, Command V for copy and paste. There's 2, there's 4, and I want a total of 8 because we have 8 colors. Now what I'm going to do is select all 8 of my squares and I'm going to align this to the center. Now I'm going to take these 8 squares. I don't need them that big. I'm going to take these 8 squares and I'm going to put them somewhere inside of my vinyl sign. Okay, you want to make sure that your square is not touching any vinyl or any clip art images that's going to be on your sign. I'm going to go back over into layers. I'm going to click one square, shift on my keyboard, and I'm going to find all, let's do yellow first. I'm going to find all my yellow cutouts. There's only going to be 2. When I'm done doing that, I'm just going to press attach. Now that's going to turn yellow, looks good. I'm going to arrange this to the back. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my next square, shift on my keyboard, and let's do everything that's purple, which should only be 2 things, and press attach. We're going to arrange that to the back. Clicking another square, shift on our keyboard, find only the light pinks, press attach, and you want to keep going until you run out of gray squares. When you have all your squares attached to the colors that you want, next thing you want to do is just press save. Okay, then what we're going to do is press make. And for my particular sign, it says that I'm going to need a 24-inch mat. Now, if you wanted to and you didn't have a 24-inch mat, what you could do is just maneuver your pieces of vinyl to where they will fit onto a 12-inch mat. So you can see when I turn this around, now I only need a 10-inch piece of vinyl. When you have all of that done, you just want to press continue. So the very first color that we're going to be using is this Mortar Gray from Tech Wrap. And mostly all Tech Wrap vinyl has a protective film over this. This just helps scratch marks on the vinyl for shipping. So you want to always make sure and peel off your protective layer. You want to make sure that your vinyl is laying flat onto your Cricut mat. Then you're just going to load it in. And I cut all of my vinyl on the vinyl mode on the Cricut, and then I go over to my computer and I click the fast cut mode because I don't like slow cutting machines. When your first mat is done cutting, what I always suggest, if this is a brand new material, is you take your weeding tool pen and you attempt to weed the vinyl on the mat inside the machine. So for me, it weeded out perfectly. We didn't have any issues, right? Had this not cut and I had wrong settings, instead of pressing this button, you want to press the C button and the machine will suck the mat back in, recutting your cutout again, and then it should be good to go. At that point, if that didn't happen for your next mat, you would have to adjust your settings to be a little bit deeper, but just make sure that your settings for the very first cut work great, then we can eject. Okay, I'm going to insert mat 2 and then press that blinking C button. You're going to want to cut out all the rest of your vinyl that we have on our screen. All right, when you're done cutting, you can just pack up your Cricut because we don't need that anymore. Then taking your favorite weeding tool pick, what you want to do is weed out all the vinyl that you do not need. You want to make sure and keep your squares intact because we're going to use that here in a second to help align everything, remember? So I'm going to move this to the side. And you just want to keep weeding out your vinyl until you get that all weeded out. So then you're going to be left with all of your pieces of vinyl all weeded out. Now what I like to do is take some parchment paper. Okay, very first thing is I'm going to start with my largest piece right here, and I'm going to cut out a piece of transfer paper that is a little bit larger than my vinyl decal. I'm going to roll the back of this corner back. I'm going to line this up onto my vinyl decal that's been weeded out. So you can see that there's the vinyl decal right there. Now I'm just going to take my brayer and I'm going to squeegee my transfer tape onto my vinyl decal. Okay, I'm going to roll this over and I'm just going to roll this back and I'm going to take off the the decal backing. So this white portion, what you're gonna be left with is this right here. Okay, I'm gonna set my next decal down, and I am going to put another piece of parchment paper over the top of that, just so that blue doesn't get stuck to my gray. Okay, I'm gonna line up my squares together. Okay, when I have that done, I'm gonna press down on this little piece of vinyl that's right here that's stuck to the carrier sheet of the gray. I'm going to lift it up with one hand, moving the parchment paper away. Now what I'm going to do is just take this transfer tape, I'm going to lay it over the top, matching up those squares. So now my umbrella is completely centered onto the handle. Okay, when I have that done, then I'm just going to roll this over, peeling away the white portion of my decal. Okay, this white we're gonna have to save for the very last. We're gonna do the green next. So what we want to do is place down the green. Using our parchment paper again, we want to protect our vinyl decal, and you want to match up the squares just like we did the last time. When you have them lined up, you just want to press down on your transfer tape so it doesn't go sliding anywhere. I have it pressed down onto my table now at this point. Then we want to roll up our decal, slide out our parchment paper, and you want to make sure that you're lining up those squares. Okay, when you have that done, you just want to press down onto your vinyl decal, making sure that you pick up all the green. There we go. Okay, we're going to roll this over, and we are going to take away the white portion of our vinyl decal. Okay, then you want to do the same steps as we've done for everything else. Okay, eventually what you'll get is a decal that looks like this, with all of those squares aligned together so everything is stacked perfectly. Now I will have one left over, and we are going to apply that after we apply the big decal. If you wanted to stain your wood round, you should have already stained your wood round, and it should be nice and dry. Then what you want to do is take your parchment paper, and we're going to be able to place this onto our parchment paper, and then we can maneuver our sign, our decal, until we like the look of where we are going to place our decal. I like the placement of my decal. So what I'm going to do is just take and push down the very little bit of vinyl that I have exposing past the parchment paper. Then I'm going to take my brayer. I'm going to use this side right here, and I'm going to roll the parchment paper back, and I'm also going to roll my vinyl onto my wood in a nice and easy motion, just doing long motions. We want to push down the vinyl as we pull away the parchment paper. Okay, when we have that done, then what you want to do is taking your weeding tool pick, and you want to peel away your transfer tape. Okay, you will notice that I left the square there. That's because we have one more piece that we need to lay down. So doing the same thing we did before with all the rest of the vinyl decals, I am going to place a piece of transfer tape over the top of my vinyl decal, peel away the backing. Okay, and then doing the same thing that we've done before, we are going to line up the squares with this white, and we're going to place it down. Okay, when you have it all placed down, doesn't it look so cute? All you want to do is take your weeding tool pick, and we're going to take off those squares and throw them away. Then I'm just going to give all my vinyl one good press down on to my piece of wood, because I want to make sure that it's stuck on there nice and good. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I need to know, did you use that square hack, or did you just kind of wing it and then just try and layer it on there? Let me know, because I want to know. Do you really like the square hack, or are we using another hack? Again, remember what I said at the beginning of this video? I am not truly a vinyl crafter. I want to fall in love with vinyl crafts, and so I am on a journey to get me to like fully loving the craft and never just wanting to ball it up and throw it in the garbage. I do have to say though, for someone that doesn't do vinyl crafts hardly ever, this sign right here turned out 100% fantastic. I mean, who would ever know that I don't generally do vinyl crafts? Would you? If I told you that I don't generally do vinyl crafts, would you know by looking at the sign? Or would you think that like, gosh, Ashley does vinyl crafts a lot? Let me know. All right, y'all, I sure hope your signs turned out absolutely amazing as well. And I'll see you later.